of me.
What's up? So, I got new stack that I went through. Time to show it off. So, starting off, we've got Magua with Presence and Power and Will. Demos, EPs, I'm not sure exactly what you'd call them. Primarily because I didn't research this before the video, but whatever. Honestly, these are some of my favorite of the early material from Magua. This stuff is really, really good. Super simple packaging, as expected for Northern Heritage and No Solace. Makes total sense. Just black vinyl. Wouldn't expect anything else. Again, really raw, gritty sounding beginnings for Magua, without a doubt. This is definitely something that reflects strongly about their future work, but at the same time, there's also I think there's only about 4 songs across all of these. Matter of fact, actually no, I was wrong. I was very wrong. But and this reflects pretty strongly on what they're going to do in the future, but at the same time, there is a couple of stinkers on here. Not necessarily just straight up stinkers, but something that is just kind of lackluster comparatively. I'm not really sure how else to describe it. The production here is super. I don't want to say cold, like necro almost. It's almost. Again, I don't want to keep using Transylvanian Hunger as an example. I have a hard time finding another band to compare like the production to, but it's raw, it's gritty as hell, and honestly, really, really good stuff. But anyway, if I shouldn't really have to describe too much about Magua to you people. You guys know how simple Northern Heritage is. You guys know what Magua sounds like. That sort of death and rolls, or not death and roll, black and roll sound. Anyway, yeah, check out the early stuff if you haven't for sure. This is Magua with Presence, and then Power and Will. Alright, next we got Magua with Mydłowski. I think it's Polish. And then Further Down the Nest. If you couldn't tell, these are the reissues because there's no way on God's green earth that I am shelling out the money needed to get original pressings of this. I like Magua, just not that much. And I'm like Magua a little bit less on this. It's still good stuff, but honestly kind of lackluster, honestly, as far as these go. These were originally on 7 inches. Again, Northern Heritage reissues. Got your lyric sheet right there. I am a big fan of all of Magua's artwork, though, with the exception of With Hearts Towards None. That one I really dig. Yeah, this is honestly kind of lackluster as far as their work goes. Nothing really to shake a stick at and defy with God to the sky. But at the same time, it's not exactly bad. I have a hard time describing what I do and don't like about this. Maybe it just caught me in the wrong mood. Maybe it just caught me in the wrong mood. I don't know, my love for the demos or the 7 inches or EPs or whatever in God's name you want to call them. Maybe my love for them was just kind of worn off over the years. Again, it's still good stuff, but it's not great. I definitely don't regret spending the money to pick these up, but at the same time, it's not something I actively go out of my way to listen to. If I'm going to listen to Magua, I typically just listen to the full lengths. But anyway, yeah, check it out if you haven't. It is the I'm a dingling. The production on it here is marginally better than the prior two, but still not as clean, I guess you'd call it, as what's to come. Anyway, check it out if you haven't. It's Magua with Midlowski and Further Down the Nest. Alright, next up, if you couldn't tell, we're going in sequential order of all the Magua releases. We've got Groza, or Groza. There's no line through the O, no umlaut. I'm not sure how the hell you're supposed to say this, but I'm gonna call it Groza. This isn't one of the three full lengths that four full lengths that they put out that I just do not go out of my way to listen to. Groza 1 is, I don't know, they repeat the same riff over and over and over again, and normally I'm all for that. I usually genuinely, as a rule of thumb, kind of like that. It's almost like hypnotic, kind of repetitive, but it just does not do it for me on this album, and I can't describe why. One is, like I said, one is alright. 2 and 3 and 4 get better, but 1 just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for this whole thing. It's definitely not unlistenable, but at the same time, it's not something, again, that I go out of my way to listen to. The lyrics on here are delectably misanthropic, as to be expected with Magua. Really simple stuff, anti-static, black vinyl. Lyrics on the back, there's not a whole lot to show off. The production on this, again, is better than it was on the demo, EPs, whatever the hell, for obvious reasons, but at the same time, definitely not what a lot of people, I feel like, would consider to be like the pinnacle of what it's going to become, and that's what we're showing next. But for the time being, that is Magua with Groza. Check it out. You might find more enjoyment in it than I did. She gone. Where did she go? I ate her. Next, we got Magua with Hearts Towards None, and holy fuck, dude. This is like their breakout album for a freaking reason. The riffs on here, the production, M's vocals, every bit of it is just sublime. Every bit of it is honestly really, really good. The lyrics, again, are delectably misanthropic. The riffing, it doesn't just focus on what sounds like photocopies of the same riff over and over again. It's really nitty, really gritty, and honestly, still to this day, some of the best material that they have ever put out, and I cannot give it enough praise. Just lyrics on the back. And again, with these reissues, you've got black vinyl on an anti-static sleeve. But super, super good stuff. Absolutely cannot recommend this enough. I'd say, if anything, 4 or 2 is probably my favorite song on this album. But go check it out. If for some reason you haven't, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. This is really, really good black and roll black metal. This is Magua with Hearts Towards None. Next, we've got Magua with Exercises in Futility, and holy shit, it's really good. Again, more of the classic like black and roll from Magua. Really, again, gritty, not necessarily raw production. Delectable. I love the lyrics all over this album. Speaking of which, lyrics on the back, front, but this is really, really great material from them. It's some between this and With Hearts Towards None, they were on a stride to perfection. And then honestly, Age of Excuse is pretty damn good, and I'm really looking forward to whenever Northern Heritage decides to put out the vinyl press of it. But great stuff. 1 and 5 and 6, I want to say, are probably my favorite tracks on this whole thing. 3 and 4 are by no means bad at all. The riffing, the drum work, the lyrics, M's vocal delivery does admittedly get kind of stagnant as it continues going forward, because he doesn't exactly show a whole ton of range, but that's kind of the beauty of Magua, is it keeps it nice and simplistic throughout the whole thing. This one actually is a first press, but this is really good, and you should go listen to it without a doubt. Otherwise, you are very much so depriving yourself. But that is Magua with Exercises in Futility. Alright, next up we got something that I'm less of a fan of, but it's ultimately is pretty tolerable. This is Municipal Waste with Hazardous Mutation. I'm not a super huge thrash guy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm especially less of a party thrash kind of guy. I don't know, like, I prefer my lyrics in music to be taken a bit more seriously than just fuck yeah, everybody party. And I'm not saying that's what all party thrash is, but that's kind of the point of it. Or unless it's supposed to be deliberately stupid and not like meant to be taken totally seriously. Like, you can look at this and not expect something to be like a band to be associated with something like Mark of the Pizzagram, but at the same time the lyrics are a little goofy. Whereas if you look at a band like Party Cannon that's deliberately going out of their way to be exquisitely over the top and goofy and funny about everything. I mean, for fuck's sake, they have a song called Tyrone, You Put That Sugar Down. And then one of their EPs is called Soft White Gelatinous Body. They're going out of their way to be ridiculous. Municipal Waste just does it by accident. But either way, this is actually pretty okay thrash, I say immediately after shitting on them for like a solid minute or so. This is pretty solid thrash, I say, after going after them for a solid minute or so. But they're not bad. Just not something I'd really ever go out of my way to listen to. Got an inner booklet with lyrics, whole hodgepodge of pictures. Then the back, and yeah, some of the songs are fun, and I think what lends itself really well towards this album is a lot of the songs are pretty short. They're short, sweet, to the point. I think there's one of them on here that's like 29, 30 seconds long, somewhere around there. Again, that's what's nice about this album, is it does not overstay its welcome. There's no like 5.5, 6.5 minute songs with like the same 3 riffs repeated throughout the whole thing. It's okay. This one is on a very nice yellow vinyl, Hazardous Waste or something of the sort. This one was a gift from my uncle, and yeah, that's really all I've got to say about it. The lyrics on here are, I'm not usually a gigantic fan of thrash lyrics for a reason. Mostly because whenever, like I said, I prefer my lyrics to be like personal or have some kind of meaning that I will never be able to decipher because I'm bad with other people's words. And then you've got goofy as hell lyrics that are kind of almost accidental. But anyway, if you like thrash, definitely check it out. This is right up your alley. But that is Municipal Waste with Hazardous Mutation. I am a big obsession, and it's for killing you. I will run you over. I will stab your throat. I want to exorcism and just get off of my balls. There is a way. Next, we've got something a lot more evil. This is Mutilation with Black Millennium, Grimly Reborn. There's the back. There's a nun with a crucifix through her boobs with blood all over her. Real classy stuff. And then, of course, classic picture of frickin' Maynok in the wheelchair. Oh my god, this album is, by all appearances, just appearances, should not be good based on how goofy as hell everything is. But it's spooky, it's raw, the riffs are really good, the drum work is impressive. There's no lyrics that I can ever make out, but it's still spooky, and it's really, really good black metal. Just on black vinyl, and then you got Maynok's sad face right there. Iconic as hell. You guys, by all means, should really know what Mutilation sounds like, especially this album. I feel like this is probably one of their better known albums, especially because of this album cover. It's really good stuff. I don't know. I think it was Black Millennium as the inner circle that they were a part of. I don't really keep up with any of their inner circles. I just know that there are certain bands that are in and aren't in inner circles. But anyway, this is super, super good stuff. I highly, highly recommend you check it out if you have not. If you've, for whatever reason, have been on a forum where you've heard somebody like shit-talking Mutilation, don't listen to them. Go out of your way. Listen to a couple Mutilation songs for yourself, and I especially would recommend The Hanged Priest or New False Prophet off of here. Or hell, even Black Millennium, I'd say. Go listen to yourself, form your own opinion, because you're missing out otherwise. This is Mutilation with Black Millennium, Grimly Reborn. Next up, I've got what is probably some of my favorite death metal of 2017. This is Necrot with Blood Incantations. And look at that. Couple of happy skeleton priests sacrificing a baby. No big deal. There's the back. This is really, really good. I don't want to say blisteringly fast-paced death metal, but it is just straightforward death metal. There's really no twist to it. If there's anything, I'd say there's maybe an influence of thrash in there, but death thrash I'm actually pretty okay with. These guys absolutely killed it live when I saw them with Untergang or Undergang, depending on how you say it. Lyrics and band photos on the inside, credits, and then it's also on this very nice gold with black and red splatter. Super sexy across the whole thing. And then you've got the Undergang pentagram, I guess you could call it. Super, super good stuff. I don't bother with the lyrics to this. This stuff is super, super good. The riffing on here is awesome. Drums are fast, but there's actually, it's not just blast beat, blast beat, blast beat, blast beat, and then a couple fills thrown in for measure. For me, it's mostly the riffing that gets me the whole way through here, but it's good enough to be the point where it's one of if not one of my favorite death albums of 2017 period. Really, really good stuff. If you like death metal, this stuff would be right up your alley. I'd say if you like a band that's kind of like Bolt Thrower, I wouldn't compare these guys to Bolt Thrower, but if you like sort of the death and roll, death thrash, the sound that they have, check them out definitely. This is Necrot with Blood Offerings. Okay, lastly, I don't know what that voice crack was about, but lastly, what I have for you is some amazing, depressive, suicidal black metal that I have Canyon to thank for introducing me to. This is Nocturnal Depression with Reflections of a Sad Soul, and that's basically all the album art you get, because fuck you, that's why. Just a dude in corpse paint screaming in the woods. Awesome. There's the back of everything. And you can kind of see there's almost a ghost in chains. This fella crying, I guess. Not too sure. Here's the gatefold. Again, this is really, really good DSBM. Really slow to mid-paced DSBM. The screams on here are like, you can definitely tell that they're pained wretches. This is coming from somewhere deep within his belly, or actually it would be more in his larynx, but you can tell this is coming from somewhere deep in his like larynx. You can tell like he feels everything that he's singing about on this album. There's no lyrics of which to speak of, but you can tell that he's really into what it is he's screaming about, and I really, really dig that. Like I said, super good stuff. And I have Canyon to thank for introducing me this in the first place. But let's get on to showing you what this comes with. You get a very cool poster of this little specter fella. He looks very sad. Sorry. And then you also get what feels like some pretty heavyweight vinyl. But here's the problem with it. Sides D and A are mixed up, and by that I mean side D technically has two sides, although this is side A. This is intro and the Whispering Spectrum, which I'd say honestly, between Her Ghost Haunts These Halls and the Whispering Spectrum, those are probably my two favorites off of this. But yeah, you can very plainly see that side D is got two sides on it, and I don't know why, because side A is actually the intro and the Whispering Spectrum, and the side D is Voices from Inside and then Spring and Nostalgia Live. No idea why it got misprinted like that, and I don't research a whole lot before I make these freaking videos, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people say anything about it. But anyway, super good stuff, especially if you like slow, mid-paced black metal. DSBM in general, this is one of the better bands. This is nothing like shitty silencer where it's like badly done howls. Nothing like that. Super good stuff. Highly recommend you check it out, especially if you're into DSBM. That is Nocturnal Depression with Reflections of a Sad Soul. Said, that's all I got for you guys for this video. I get the feeling when I edit this down it's going to be a lot shorter, but not all the videos can be long. I'm sure some of you probably like the shorter videos anyway, like the 10 of you who are actually watching. But I don't know, give me some interaction. Let me know if you like those shorter videos or the longer videos. I'll try and go into more or less detail depending on what the response is. But yeah, that's it for now, and I will be back with another stack probably about next week. So, see ya, and deuces.